Military 101. As you know, I'm Colonel Ward, and today we're going to continue the conversation about military healthcare. Now, you guys saved your parents a pretty penny by enrolling in ROTC at Northeastern. Some of your other classmates were not nearly as fortunate. However, since your tuition was paid for, you are now required to serve for the military. It's kind of like if we scratch your back, you scratch ours.
Funny thing about my back is it's located...
Hey, Harris! Let's keep the movie quotes to a minimum and our minds out of the gutter, alright? Now focus. Can anyone tell me some differences between you military folks and your classmates who decided to not do ROTC?
They didn't have to wake up at the crack of dawn several times a week for training, and they didn't have to wear their hair in these ugly uptight buns.
Why don't we focus on some more clinical application rather than the superficial ones, huh, Cortez?
Oh, I know. We have way more responsibility than civilian PTs because we get to order diagnostic imaging and prescribe medications.
Correct. That is very correct, Officer Fontaine. Very good. We also have direct access for all, which allows us to diagnose people early on and send them back on their ways back to their active duty. So it's really important. You guys see now why you had to take that online diagnostic imaging class during your second clinical? Everything's coming full circle now, right? So it's important for us to be able to differentiate between potential fractures and also be able to identify abnormal masses if maybe there's a systemic issue and we know, okay, this isn't part of our PT scope of practice.
It really does come full circle with Dr. Hickey's screening class because now you know when to refer out.
Stop sucking up, Emily. We're all there to experience the same curriculum. Colonel Ward, what do we do when we get deployed and we don't have access to the same equipment as we do here?
That's a great question, Connors. So it's true that if you were sent overseas, you probably wouldn't have the same quality images you have here. But that's why it's even more important for you guys to be able to, read it right. And if you still have questions, you could potentially refer to a specialist, but that puts the patient in risk because they might have to travel off-site, which should not only be dangerous, but could also be expensive. So you're trying to be cost efficient for our government, which is great as long as you're able to do those responsibilities that are expected of you. And it also allows for other medical staff to focus on their area of expertise, such as trauma surgery, dentistry, or mental health services.
Oh yes, I have in my notes from last week, Colonel Ward, that the role of physical therapy drastically changed after the Vietnam War and that early intervention improved prognosis, outcome, morale, and return to duty status.
Excellent work, Fontaine. All of that is true. Our role as PTs definitely have adapted over the years, and they continue to evolve as the years go on. Pat, you were in the sports concentration at Northeastern, were you not?
I certainly was. Yeah. I focused in synchronized swimming.
Right, okay. Well, how do you think your orthopedic specialty would relate to a more combat-type setting?
Oh, well, can I possibly phone a friend on this one?
Yeah, you could, but how about before you do that, you drop and give me 10, soldier! One push-up for every button you have to press on that little phone to phone a friend on what should have been an easy question. Let's see.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning.
Are you kidding me? You're winning already? You weren't even going all the way down.
She's right, Harris. That was a pretty sad excuse of a push-up. Those three don't count. Why don't you try again?
There were funky Chinamen from
We got a little bit of a show off here.
They were chopping the
Colonel Ward, I can help Pat out. Last week you said that PTs perform strength and conditioning screens, which are called Operation Readiness, and they're similar to pre-screening for sports.
Very good, Connors. Thank you. It's nice to know that some people pay attention when I lecture up here. Now, can anyone tell me the purpose of these screens?
Oh, pick me, please, I know.
All right, Fontaine, take it away.
If a therapist assesses and clears a soldier, then the officer knows that he is ready to be deployed without any impairments.
Very nice.
So wait. We have the power to give officers the green light after their training?
That is correct, Harris. However, if you don't start paying attention, I'm not sure I'm going to give you the green light to pass this class.
Oh, burn.
Now, settle down, class. Now that we've established the fact that we're pretty much superior to civilian PTs, it's time to move on in the lecture. I believe it's time for our weekly presentation, so Harris, Cortade, it's your time to shine. Care to enlighten us on what kind of insurance we receive since we work for the military?
Colonel Ward. I'm not too confident talking in front of large groups.
Officer Harris, you are about to be enlisted in the armed services of the United States of America. Now you get up there and you do as I said. All right, I have faith in you. Come on.
All right,
Man up.
I can do
Man
this.
up, buddy.
I can do this, and it's Tricare. Everybody loves Tricare. It's such an amazing subject. It's really, really cool.
Riveting. Let's go. Let's do
Nap
it.
time.
Alright guys, so like I just said, Tricare is super cool. And now I try not to pick favorites, but I mean, I gotta be honest, I love Tricare Extra. It's extra, extra good. But anyways, I mean, let's start with the first level. So there are 3 levels, right? The first one is Tricare Prime. And now if you look into it, it's kind of like a civilian HMO plan, right? Once you enroll, you pick a primary care manager, or PCM obviously, I mean everybody knows that. It's just like a primary care physician for the civilians, right? You see them for the most of your visits, and then in the event that you need to see a specialist, well then you have to go back to your primary care manager and get a referral. Now the good thing about this program is that it has the lowest cost of services out of any of the plans. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But we got Tricare Extra. Now Tricare Extra is kind of like a PPO plan. You don't have to pick a primary care manager. You don't even need referrals to go see specialists. I mean, it's amazing. But the one bad thing is that it has a little bit higher cost than Tricare Prime. So, for example, Tricare Prime, you don't have any deductibles, nothing, squat. But with Tricare Extra, it's $150 per person or $300 per family. Now, the last one, it gets a little confusing, but we can do this, we can work it through, all right? So it's called Tricare Standard. Now Tricare Standard is a fee-for-service plan, which means you get some sort of treatment, some sort of service, and you pay just for those services. The thing is, it has the highest cost per treatment compared to the other 2 levels. Now you're all sitting there right now, right, being like, well, why would we ever want this? I mean, it's got the highest cost, right? Right, everybody? Yeah, it seems pretty weird. But this plan would be very desirable for somebody that already has a primary insurance and they're just looking for a supplemental insurance, a secondary insurance, right? So they only have to pay for what they use above their other insurance. It's great. So anyways, guys, I mean, I know I enjoyed that talk so much and I'd stand up here forever, but I hope you guys enjoyed it and I hope you learned a lot. I mean, I can't believe I got through that. That was amazing.
Alright, that's enough, Harris. So, contrary to popular belief, VA healthcare system is actually not considered an insurance plan. So, you know what that means when you're at the doctor filling out paperwork, you actually can't write VA healthcare system on the insurance line. So that's why it's important to have a primary insurance. And that's where Tricare steps up to the plate. So coverage for VA healthcare system includes those who were previously in active duty and have been discharged or released, of course with the exception of those who have been dishonorably discharged.
Boo.
So it's based on income level and there's an application process, so the more money you make, the less likely you are to be covered by VA healthcare system. The good news is though, they just increased the income threshold, so now it includes a wider spectrum of veterans. You can also qualify based on those who've had a significant disability while they're in active duty. As you can imagine, those bills really pile up after a chronic disability. So there are several different copays for different services that you can get through the VA HCS, and some require pretty high copays, but then there are several that don't require a single penny. So certain services that don't require copays at all include labs, EKGs, counseling and care for military and sexual trauma, any cancer that was acquired from radiation that happened during the military, or hospice. So that's a wrap.
Wow, good work, kids. I'm thoroughly impressed with how great that information was. You guys were solid up there. Harris, I'm really impressed with you. You stepped up to the plate, buddy. Way to go. All right, so it's really important that you guys paid attention to that kind of stuff because you're going to layer this information. It's good to have some basic concepts, but you're going to learn more as you go through these services, all right?
That was just absolutely thrilling. I just want to say it again. Pat, excellent job. Caitlin, great work. I just can't wait to ace next week with the material.
Do less, Fontaine.
All right, guys. I mean, Fontaine does have a point because it is, guess what time? Quiz time! Yes, there we go, Fontaine. Love the enthusiasm. Okay, so as we remember last week, let's see here, quizzes. So last week, if we remember, Connors gave a fascinating talk about who gets covered for insurance. So now we're gonna regroup, kind of think about what she taught us last week, and try to remember as much as we can. We'll see how much retention you guys have, okay? So take some time to do that. Alright, plebes, time's up. Does everyone feel like they aced this quiz? Hundo for everyone? Yeah?
That was kind of hard. I think we should all just go over it together. I think that'd be the best.
Alright, what exactly did you guys have trouble with?
Well, let's start with number one. Who qualifies for Tricare? I'm kind of confused.
Alright, who knows the answer? Who can answer number one? Connors?
C. Active duty service members and retirees of the 7 uniformed services, their family members, survivors, and others who are registered in the Defense Enrollment Eligibility Reporting System.
Correct. Alright, what other numbers? Let's see here. What about,
I had that one too, by the way.
Sure you did.
Alright, so anyway, guys. Number 4, true or false? Tricare continues to cover a sponsor's family after a sponsor dies.
False?
No, sorry, the answer is true, but the level of coverage they receive depends on what the sponsor's status was in the military. So, that's Tricare. Alright, what about number 7? Are you able to have Medicare and Tricare at the same time?
Oh, the answer is definitely B, yes. But if you are eligible for Medicare Part A, you are required to get Medicare Part B to keep up Tricare coverage.
Finally, someone with the correct answer. Way to go, Fontaine. Alright, so the last question we're going to go over. What are the requirements to enroll in the VA healthcare system?
I believe the answer is C. For any members who enlisted after September 7, 1980, or began active duty after October 16, 1981 to qualify, they had to have served a full 12 months or the full term that they were called to duty.
Close, but not quite. Connors, can you help her out?
It's 24 months, not 12.
Good, and are these requirements ever waived?
Yes, they're waived under certain circumstances, which can be if you're discharged for a disability, a hardship, or if it's before the date, September 7th, 1980.
Very good. Alright, folks, I think that's about as much information as I'm going to cram into your heads for one day. So you are Zach Morris.
Saved by the Bell. Hey, I got that reference. See? TV and movie references do come in handy.
Alright, Harris, I'll give you 1 bonus point today for appreciating my cheesy humor, but after that, you really need to work on both your focus and your body strength, okay?
Yep.
Alright, have a good weekend, class. You now are required to serve in the military. So, I can see you doing that. Cut!
They didn't have to wait for the They didn't have to wait for the
Started to...
They didn't have to wake up for training multiple times a week. We're gonna say the crack of dawn.
I lost count.